some birth prep mobility exercises we can do just to help our hips and pelvic floor stay nice and relaxed and mobile throughout pregnancy. Generally speaking, you're not going to really need to utilize the birth ball as much until later in your third trimester, but you can always use these exercises if they feel good to you. Some of them, though, are meant to really be modifications of other exercises as your belly gets bigger. So to start, if we're on our knees like this, we can use it just to move back into child's pose. And it just really gets a nice stretch also in our upper back and down into our pelvic floor and our hips. Just keep everything nice and relaxed for a couple breaths. You can move over to the side and really stretch out also the side of your back, like your lats, as well as you're just taking nice deep breaths there. You're going to use the ball to do some half kneel rock back. So putting one knee up and then just leaning into the ball and really just pushing it forward onto your elbows and back. You can hang out wherever you feel like you get a good stretch with this. But doing about 5 to 7 of these on each side. You can use the ball sitting on it. This is where I think, so those other two, I think you can use the ball no matter what size your belly is. I think also some of these next ones help to do like hip circles and get some good range of motion in your lower back and your hips. That is kind of potentially harder to achieve once you're farther along. So just doing hip circles, like 10 or so each direction. You can also do some pelvic tilts and tuck your tailbone under and out like this. I find that bouncing on the ball also just kind of can feel good. This isn't necessarily a stretch, but even just sitting on the ball with your feet up is kind of like being in like a squat position. So if you're also, again, later in your third trimester and your belly's just bigger and you can't get into a squat comfortably, you can sit on your ball and trying to get your knees, as high as you can above your hips. Bouncing on it, I just think sometimes feels good. There's some theory that it's like helping progress labor potentially, but I don't think it's proven because, it would be like pressing on the cervix, but take it for what it's worth. If you're really late and you're wanting to induce labor, you may find yourself bouncing on your ball. And then another one with the birth ball, just to get some trunk upper back mobility that you might be starting to diminish as we get later on in our third trimester as well, is to just sit nice and wide, and then you're just going to kind of reach down to one foot and then rotate open. And then you can come back up and then slide down, rotate as well. And that's a really good one just to get trunk mobility as well. Those are all of my exercises for hip mobility, pelvic floor exercises for birth prep using a birth ball.